everybody, what's up? It's Lisa from twocreateawebsite.com. Okay, so the video I did last year on SEO and how it's evolved, you guys really seem to like that. And I've been getting a few requests this year to do one for 2014. Here's the deal. Not much has changed between 2013 and 14, and I think going forward, we're going to see more of the same. But there were a lot of things that I did not cover in that last video that I probably should have covered, and I want to clarify some things. And there were a couple of things like the hummingbird update that happened since this last video that I definitely want to make sure you understand. So with that, let's go. Now, just like I do with most of my long videos, you can go to the description and click on the various topics you want to jump to in case you don't want to sit here and listen to me ramble and watch me draw for however many minutes this video is going to be. So I'm going to start off by talking about what Google is not going to tell us. Okay, a lot of you subscribe to Matt Cutts' channel. We've been watching his videos for a long, long time. They can be very informational, but there's some things that, for example, Matt Cutts is not going to tell you, but guess what? I'm going to tell you here in this video. Also, I'm going to talk about Google's technology. I just mentioned the hummingbird update. A lot of people didn't really understand what that meant for small business, bloggers, webmasters, and all that. So I'm going to kind of cover what hummingbird was and what Google's knowledge graph is and what that means for the future of search engine optimization. And I also want to talk about my favorite subject, and that is backlink building. Not really. You guys, if you've been following me for a long time, you know this is like such a sore subject for me. But I feel like I minimized the importance of backlinks in that last video, and I just want to clarify a couple of things. And then finally, I want to talk more about what it really means to be an authority. We hear about Google talking about, you want to be seen as an authority. I talked about that a little bit in the last video, but I want to sort of illustrate that a little bit better in this video. All right, so let's start with what Google is not going to tell us. So a lot of us subscribe to the Google Webmaster Tools Central channel, which is usually Matt Cutts putting out videos talking about changes they've made, any kind of penalties related to Google Penguin, backlink building, and all that. So he does a lot of videos. They're usually about 1 to 2 minutes long. This is supposed to be a Matt Cutts video. He stands at his little podium, right? And his videos are very concise, to the point. This is supposed to be his glasses, but does that look like Matt Cutts? No, probably doesn't. Anyway, Matt Cutts does these videos and he talks about all of the Penguin updates and things that you want to avoid if you don't want to get your site penalized. And his videos can be very informative, but sometimes they also generate confusion because 3 months later, what he said in one video is no longer relevant. And Matt gets a lot of hate. And I'm going to defend Matt just a little bit here, because I do agree that he does cause some confusion. But what people have to understand is that Matt's title is the lead of web spam. He is not the search strategist for Google.com. Okay, his job is to fight spam, people who are manually building backlinks to mislead Google into thinking they're more popular than they really are. That's his job. So when you're watching his videos, you have to understand that there's something bigger at work here. So you've probably noticed now Google ranks brands a lot higher than smaller business websites. One of the reasons is that brands are relevant. Big brands are relevant to these searches. So the more relevant the results are, the more people are going to use Google.com for search, and the more money Google is going to make with a program called AdWords, which is basically Google's pay per click program. So if you want to rank for a certain keyword, you can pay Google $5 a click, $6 a click, or whatever the price is to rank for that. So you have to understand that this is a big moneymaker for Google. So of course, part of their strategy is going to be padding their pockets, right? So one of the advantages of ranking brands is that, number one, you're going to get more quality results because a lot of the brands will be relevant. And let's keep it real, it makes it harder for smaller blogs and other smaller websites to rank because brands are dominating so many of the top search results now, right? So that forces these smaller blogs and smaller businesses to pay for AdWords. So that piece that I just explained has nothing to do with Matt Cutts. Matt Cutts is just talking about search from his perspective, which is web spam. So obviously Matt is not going to come on here and say, well, you can disavow your links, but guess what? It's not going to really do much good because we're really trying to maximize our AdWords profits anyway. Ha, 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 ha. I mean, come on, guys. Matt's not going to do that. His job is to focus on the web spam, not the global search strategy for Google.com. That's something Google will never reveal to us. But you have to see how things have changed, and you know that padding their pockets is their goal. So I think it's important for everybody to remember this is not 2005 anymore. And I feel like people are still approaching search engine optimization as if we're still back years ago. It's 2014 and a lot has changed. And so as I'm going through this video and talking about different things, sure, you can listen and learn, but just understand this big picture in the background. It's important that you keep that in mind. So now let's talk about Google Hummingbird. This update happened about, I guess it was September or so of last year. You guys know how my drawings are. Yes, that's a hummingbird. Why do I even go there? Anyway, this update was about Google getting smarter. Google now handles longer tail, more conversational queries much better than they have in the past. A lot of people thought that Hummingbird was about penalizing sites. It wasn't about that at all. It was more about them and less about us and how they're better at, understanding what you mean when you do certain queries. So here's an example. We now surf the web a lot differently than we did 10 years ago. Before, we might type in Chicago restaurants. Now, because people are using their mobile devices to do voice search, you might say something more conversational like, show me the best restaurants in Chicago. As a result, Google is going to show you the best rated by stars, right? So this is one example of Google being able to handle more conversational, long tail type queries. But also, even if you type in Chicago restaurants, just without all of that other fluff, you're still going to get the ratings. And this, again, about Google getting smarter. Because here's the deal. If you're searching for restaurants, don't you want to see the ones that are top rated? Don't you want to read the reviews? So again, that's Google interpreting the kind of results that you want to see based on your queries. So Hummingbird was about Google getting smarter. So what does this mean for us, the bloggers, the webmasters? It could mean two things. You either went up for certain queries or you went down for certain queries. It just depends on how this update impacted the keywords that you were ranking for. So, for example, if you used to rank really well for Chicago restaurants because you had a web page that listed some restaurants and you had some reviews, you may not get as much traffic because people are now clicking on these top rated restaurants because they're showing up before the organic results. This is an example of how Hummingbird may have hurt your website, but some people got a boost with Hummingbird as well. It just really depends on the queries you're getting found for. Now let's talk about the knowledge graph. This is not anything new, but it's continually impacting search. Google's knowledge graph started, I don't know, it's been maybe 5 or 6 years now, but they're basically building their own database of information across various topics. So I'll give you guys an example. You might search for how old is J-Lo? And right away, Google consults their knowledge base and pulls up not only her age, but you can even just see the year she was born, her birth date, and everything. This is an example of how Google is taking facts and displaying them in front of the organic results. So you can do a lot of fact-based queries now and get this kind of result. Now, of course, this isn't good if you were ranking for some fact-based queries in the past. And a lot of people are worried, oh my gosh, Google's going to take over search. I do believe they're going to continue expanding their knowledge graph or their knowledge base or whatever and continually show results for fact-based queries. But when it comes to detailed, longer tail queries, they're still going to show, other websites because it's about diversity. And that's what makes their, results quality. Yes, they still favor brands and they're always going to favor brands, I think, going forward. But they're not just going to completely eliminate, other websites. I don't think so. Now, you guys may think differently. So let's talk about backlinks. My favorite subject, not. in the last video, I feel like I minimized the importance of backlinks. Let me make one thing very clear. Backlinks are still very, if not the most important factor in where a website ranks in Google. They're still very, very important. The biggest difference compared to, let's just say 3 or 4 years ago, is that the kinds of backlinks that count, that will boost your rank, that whole pool of links has been drastically diminished. Does that mean people aren't still manipulating the results? Of course, people are still manipulating the results. As long as backlinks are going to be a factor, there's always going to be room for manipulation. I still see it all the time. But the difference is it's getting harder and harder and harder. So if you want to be one of those people that chases links and chases the algorithm, be my guest. Now, there's a gentleman out there by the name of Spencer Hawes. He owns a website called Niche Pursuits, and he buys expired domains. So let's say he has a website on, I don't know, fishing. He'll go out and he'll look for domains that are related to fishing, that previously had content on them, and have a page rank. A page rank is basically Google's internal measuring system for the kinds of links that link to your website. So a lot of people, they let their domains expire and they have a certain page rank. Well, if those sites that have page rank link to your site, they can help you rank. So what Spencer will do is he'll buy these domains, build up content on them, and link these sites back to his main site to help him rank. This is a manual tactic that people are doing today. People are also doing things like link networks, where they build a bunch of sites and link them together. Some of these people are finding that this still works for them. Again, I can't teach that because I don't know anything about that. And I feel like it's more of a temporary thing, and you're always going to be chasing the algorithm. So, if you want to do that type of SEO, follow Spencer of Niche Pursuits. I like a lot of his content. I own his keyword research software called Longtail Pro. I think it's a great tool for doing some preliminary research, but I don't agree with everything that he does. It's not something that I personally want to do, but he's had some success. So if you want to follow Spencer, go on over to his blog and hey, tell him Lisa sent you. So that's what I wanted to say about backlinks. They are still important. It's just that the links like the article directory submissions, the guest posting, the link exchanges, all of those don't work as well. They don't count as much because Google knows that people use those to manipulate the results or the rankings. So let's talk about what it means to be an authority and building authority. I think a lot of people think authority is about having, a really big website with a lot of content. And so you think, oh, I'm going to build this really, really large website on fitness, and so I'm an authority. No, Google is like, you have to prove to us you are an authority. Are people liking your content? Are people sharing your content? Do you have share diversity, or are you getting shares from the same groups of people? You know what I mean? Google, again, guys, this is harder than it's ever been. So that's why people are so frustrated. So let me give you guys an example. Let's say your name is Vera Veggie and you want to be the cucumber expert. Okay. So you create a Google Plus account under Vera Veggie, right? So you start a YouTube channel. You love cooking with cucumbers. And you just think cucumbers are the best food in the world, and you want to be found for everything related to cucumbers. Okay, so you put together this awesome video with maybe 101 ways to cook with cucumbers. Okay, this is a lame example, I know. I just bought a NutriBullet, so I've been eating a lot of cucumbers, so I think that's why this is on my mind. Side note. Anyway, so let's say this video is very, very well done. Let's say it gets 1,500 likes and a ton of different comments. Okay. So everybody's liking the video and you got a lot of comments, a lot of shares. Then you use this video to promote your new blog. So in the video, you tell people to, come over to your new blog. Maybe you link to your subscription page like I did in my last video. And so you start writing content on cucumbers. And so the people who have found you on YouTube are now reading your blog and they're liking your content, they're commenting, they're sharing it. Suddenly your blog starts to get popular. So now Google is saying, okay, Vera's got these YouTube videos with a lot of shares, a lot of likes. She now has a blog, same topic, lots of popular content. We're going to start ranking Vera for more cucumber related keywords. So that's where search engine optimization is moving toward now. It's not so much about manipulation and focusing on keywords. Like if I want to rank for cucumber salad, I'm going to write a bunch of content with cucumber salad in the title and write cucumber salad, cucumber salad, cucumber salad in my content all day. This is not 2005. How many times do I have to say that? We have to keep that in our minds. Google is now looking at the bigger picture. How popular are you everywhere? How much of an authority are you in a given topic? And guess what, guys? That's harder. It's harder to pull that off today. But that's why Google is saying they want people to focus more on being the best in whatever topic they choose instead of focusing so much on keyword manipulation and all the on-page factors like how many words on a page and how many times should I link out to this content. Forget about that. Just put out awesome stuff. Now, that's not to say that there aren't on-page things that you need to do, like making sure your content on your website is very focused. And if you want to rank for some cucumber-related content, you want to make sure your content talks about cucumbers. You can't just have one article on cucumbers and then 50 articles on other vegetables. That's the on-page goal. But the off-page goal is to be effective in many places, to prove to Google that you are an authority. You want to be good on YouTube. You want to have a blog that people comment on, that people share. So Google can say, okay, I think this site is more relevant for this phrase. Is it harder to pull that off today, guys? Absolutely it is. So I think the biggest difference today, and I've said this on my blog, is that you have to have some kind of strategy before you get started. You can't just come out here and just write some content and expect to get thousands and thousands of visitors just from your content. And of course, I sound like a broken record, but you can't rely on Google. You just cannot. You have to see every visitor from them as a bonus. And the idea is if you do a really, really good job of building up your authority in different places, it will help your organic rankings over time. Now, are you going to get tens of thousands of visitors very easily like you could back then? No, but you will still get some traffic. So I hope you guys found this enjoyable. I hope you learned something. If you have something to add, you guys, I am not the expert at SEO like some people call me. No, I'm not. I'm just telling you guys what I'm reading, what I'm learning. So if you want to add something to the conversation, I'll see you in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my blog. I would love to see you there. And if you need help, go to websitebabble.com, join my forum. I'm there almost every day. I would love to chat with you. So see you there. Bye.